Hey, Battle Bill here with another video, and today we're getting some more Master League Premier Cup Go Battle League battles. Alright, you might have seen in my last video, my rating was sitting pretty low in the 2700s, but even though that video came out yesterday, that set was from a couple days ago, and I have since jumped a bit from that rating. And I'm currently sitting around 2890s, and we have entered the portion of the season where we're going to be doing my little mini-series of Road to Rank 10 battles. Hopefully this series is a little bit shorter than last season's series, specifically because ELO increments and ELO jumps and losses have changed drastically. Instead of 5-0s giving you maybe like 40 points in the beginning of the season, they're now giving like 90 points. I've gotten like 60 points for a 4-1, but that also means on the flip side, going 1-4 can lose you 60 points. Going 0-5 could lose you anywhere from 90 to 100 points. So I feel like I'm in the hot seat, gambling real hard. This is not the time for spice, unfortunately, because my ELO really can't afford that. So what that means is I am going to show you the same team as yesterday, and we're going to go through a set. I did make a little bit of a change to the team. It's the same exact Pokemon, but instead of Snorlax with Outrage, I want to give Snorlax with Skull Bash a try and see if that benefited me at all in this set, so I'll be taking a close look at that. And then on top of that, I'm just going to really be commentating and breaking down my battles, see how this set went, see if it gets me any closer to rank 10, hopefully. And again, hopefully this is a shorter series than last season. But if you want to check out my battles and you want to see me do them live, hopefully by the time I put this video out, I haven't hit rank 10 already and I'm giving false advertisement. But on Twitch, I should still be on my intro screen, so my Twitch should be one of these directions. One of these days I'll get my camera angle right, but one of these directions, my Twitch should be there. Check me out there. The link is in the description if you want to see me battle live and get to rank 10. There's a good hope. I don't know if I'll be there by the time this video comes out or not, but if I'm not, you can check out my battles then. And if you just want to see me battle pretty consistently, again, check me out on Twitch. So without further ado, let's jump into this set. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Alright, let's check out these battles. As I'm hoping to get closer to rank 10 this set, what I'm also hoping is to not have deja vu like last season and hit an ELO rating of 29.99. As much as that made for great content. But let's get to this first battle. Off to a positive start, got a great lead. Garchomp on Magnezone, and my opponent decided they wanted to swap late, so I'm like, you know what? Let's throw Sand to him, get all the way to an Outrage by the time they essentially swapped. So this will most likely bait the shields because they gotta respect Garchomp's Outrage. And now I can swap in my Snorlax here comfortably, and I really don't need Skull Bash in this situation. I can just Body Slam spam and should be fine. Now, I do make a bit of a miscalculation. I kind of forgot my Garchomp sat there for a little bit. I expected that to be a Dragon Claw. Ended up being a Hurricane, but I'm like, you know what? As long as I get the 2 Body Slams, I should be okay to either... I should be okay to have shield advantage and still keep switch advantage, but it all depends on if I get to the second one. They decide to shield, so I'm not getting switch advantage, but I do have 2-0 shield advantage, which is huge because both of my Pokemon with the shield advantage can take care of that Magnezone, so I'm not too worried about it. Especially because if they have like a Togekiss in the back to deal with Garchomp, Metagross will just take care of the Magnezone and the Garchomp, and the Togekiss, and Garchomp won't have to do much. So I do respect this being a potential Hurricane. Ends up being a Hurricane, I shield. I'm able to essentially farm down, but they swap into their Magnezone. They don't let their Dragonite go down. They swapped into it, and by the time I processed that, I was a little late on my switch. I let that Wild Charge go through, but I'm like, you know what? Garchomp can just come in now and slaughter. Garchomp can come in, completely farm down this Magnezone, and if the Dragonite comes in, it's at 1 HP. So I actually don't mind the situation at all. The way it looked like my Metagross took down the Dragonite, but they really swapped. And I don't know if they were trying to play a trick on me, so I'd hopefully leave in my Metagross there, but that was definitely a misplay on their part. And what you'll notice is I do something very fascinating here. So we both swapped, which means our switch timers are almost up at this point. And you see I have a bunch of energy, but I don't want my switch timer to run out. I don't want theirs to run out. So I actually let all that energy go to waste on purpose because I want my Metagross to come in, throw the Meteor Mash, and I don't want to worry about that Dragonite swapping in. So that was actually completely calculated, and it's a really weird play to just let all that energy go to waste. But Garchomp against Togekiss, that energy really isn't doing much anyway. But take the first match of the set. So, if you're wondering why I'm running this team and not the Magnezone team, it's not because the Magnezone team has fallen out of relevance, but I specifically said when using it, it's because I'm going up against a bunch of Togekiss leads. And, as I did all that smack talking about Togekiss leads, the Togekiss leads kind of disappeared on me. So it's back to my other go-to team, this Garchomp team. It still has plenty of success in Season 3, and I'm fully expecting it to get me to rank 10, just like it did in Season 2. So getting into this next match, my opponent's going for a charge move here. I threw my Sand Tomb, not really expecting to get the shield, but to soften up the Dragonite, because of the fact that Snorlax without Outrage and with Skull Bash, it takes like forever to get to the Skull Bash, and it's not really a reliable source of trying to one-shot a Dragonite. So I do see that as one of the downsides, is running Skull Bash over Outrage. So what I'm going to essentially do here is, now that I softened it up, I'm just going to throw 2 Body Slams and see if this will do enough to allow me to keep switch advantage here. So I get one of my opponent's shields there, I go for the second Body Slam here, and this will put the Dragonite either in the red or it will get me another shield. And it got me both of the shields. So that's also the other reason why I didn't throw the Skull Bash, because of the fact that I would have raised my defense, but I would have gotten their shield, and it would have done me really no good. So they go for a Dragon Claw of their own there. I end up giving them my second shield, and they swap just as I was about to get the Body Slam, which was a really solid play on their part. So now they're getting to a charge move here. They're a little bit ahead of energy because of the way they swapped. But I'm just hoping they can't get the 2 Hydro Cannons before I get to this Outrage, and I just get to the Outrage in time to land it on the Swampert. This will not take it out, but getting the Swampert low is huge because my backline really doesn't want to deal with a fully healed or full healthy or ton of HP Swampert. That's, I don't know, none of those phrases work properly, but either way, you knew what I meant. So they get to another Hydro Cannon. They definitely overfarm, so I need to be careful. So what I'm going to do here is I think I'm going to bring in Snorlax and chuck the Body Slam just so that energy goes to waste. I think that's what I do. That is what I do. But then the slight downside to this, and I waited out the switch timer because my switch clock is almost like back to like being up, and it just came back up. I was worried about the Dragonite coming in trying to farm me down, which is why I waited out the switch timer. I bring in my Metagross here to try and farm down this Dragonite, and they are going for a charge move. I'm worried it's a Hurricane, ends up only being a Dragon Claw, which is somewhat positive, and then they bring in a Togekiss, and I'm feeling pretty good about this second match. So what I'm going to do here to finish this off is I'm going to charge up to literally 2 Meteor Mashes. This first one will take out the Togekiss. The second one I'm like a bullet punch short, but they are not that close to another Dragon Claw. Plus, another Dragon Claw is not taking out Metagross at this health. And what you'll also notice is this is my best buddy Metagross, but it's not currently boosted. So I was very risky these first 2 matches. I made the adjustment going to the third match, but luckily it didn't cost me either of these first 2. Getting into this third match, let's see what the leads are going to be. I obviously have my Garchomp, and it's up against a Mamoswine. Now, this is a lost lead for Garchomp, but I don't mind this lead as much because endgame with Garchomp against a Mamoswine, and if the shields are down, Garchomp can actually beat it because of how glassy Mamoswine is and how hard the outrages hit Mamoswine. What my opponent decides to do is they leave in their Mamoswine to chuck an Avalanche, and then they go for the swap, and I finally found my first opportunity to use this Skull Bash. Now, the question is this Skull Bash going to land? We're going to find out, and it does. So it gets the Gyarados in the yellow, which is huge. Essentially gives me a chance to win back switch, but then I decide not to shield this. I don't know what my logic was. I kind of felt like with the defense buff, maybe I should still be able to survive to a Body Slam. Found out the hard way that I was not going to be able to survive until a Body Slam. So I could have gotten switched, butchered it by not shielding there, and now I'm going to bring in my Metagross. I was hoping that wasn't a crunch. Ended up being a crunch, so making some really solid plays right now. Let's learn from these mistakes. Should have shielded the Aqua Tail, should have shielded that crunch. We're in a 2-shield situation. I really need a switch here. Let's see if I can somehow salvage this, because my Metagross does have energy, and they bring in their Mamoswine to deal with my Metagross. So I might benefit from the fact that my opponent's team comp here wasn't put together well to deal with Metagrosses if you're bringing in your Mamoswine and literally letting it go down. So they have a Garchomp of their own, which is an interesting play on just completely sacking the Mamoswine, but I guess the logic there was to get rid of my Metagross's energy, but my Metagross over-farmed, so it didn't exactly go the way my opponent had hoped. And then my opponent goes for their charge move, and they go for the Outrage. I guess they thought that since I had 2 shields, they would need to bait to win, which is essentially what their win con was, but I was like, I know the reverse psychology on that, so I was shielding, not taking any chances. I go for my Outrage, don't bait, land it, pull out the win, even after my mistakes, because as much as I liked my opponent's interesting team comp, it just did not work too well against mine. You could also say my opponent misplayed that one because they brought in the Mamoswine, but then again, my Metagross had energy, and I could have threatened the shields with the Meteor Mashes on the Garchomp, and then my Garchomp on Mamo might not have been as bad because Garchomp's Outrage can beat a Mamoswine in that no-shield. It doesn't one-shot it, but that Mamoswine wasn't at full health, so I definitely still had a win con there either way. Regardless, solid match. Let's get into the next one. Got a Garchomp on a Swampert. I throw the Outrage, they shield. And what I always do whenever my Garchomp faces a Swampert or a Machamp is I just always throw the Outrage because it doesn't benefit you to bait as much as, yeah, you could get the shield. Just going straight Outrage feels like the safest situation because of the fact that you can get to two of them. And if they really want to shield both of them, you could put yourself in a positive shielding situation even if you lose lead. But then my opponent swaps and made a really good play. A really good play. Because of the fact that my health was so low and you can't really see where your health is at during a swap, I was hoping I can get to the Outrage to threaten the shield. I should have just thrown the Sand Tomb to be safe than sorry, and that was a huge play on my opponent considering they weren't in the most positive situation. So props to them, respect to them for that play. Caught me off guard. I should have just chucked the Sand Tomb to be safe. Even if I didn't get the shield, I would have at least debuffed this Snorlax. And I don't know, bought myself time to swap out. All I know is it was a really good play, and all that energy went to waste, which was very frustrating. So now I brought in my Snorlax to lick down the Dragonite. I also didn't want my Metagross to take any more damage or potentially get Hurricaned by the Dragonite, and I didn't want to have to use a shield either. I'd rather my Snorlax have eaten the Hurricane. But now they counter with a Metagross, and this is a situation where I don't want to have Skull Bash or Outrage. I would prefer to have either Earthquake or Superpower, and I unfortunately don't have either of those movesets. Maybe the next video, if I'm continuing this road to rank 10, I'll just use this exact team comp with every different moveset that Snorlax can learn between Lick, Body Slam, and a third move, and just completely swap it up. But then they actually swap out, and I don't remember why. But I'm able to land both of these. Oh, they want to farm down my Snorlax, that's why. But I was able to land both of those Body Slams, and it put me in a situation where I was hoping that they wouldn't have enough energy for 2 Hydro Cannons, and I could bullet punch their Swampert down. But as I'm about to get there, because of the way they swapped, they played this so well, my opponent. Huge props and respect to them. They do get to another Hydro Cannon. I am going to bullet punch them, but they have a shield. Their Metagross has a decent amount of health. I need to land the Earthquake. They're definitely shielding this no matter what, because it would be way too risky to play as well as they played and then let me sneak an Earthquake through to win. So they do that. And then I'm not going to be able to get to another Earthquake because I'm like 1 bullet punch away from going down, which is why my opponent shielded before. They recognize that clearly. So I at least got the Meteor Mash off, hoping that I had a win condition in that, but I'm going to lick, and they're going to get to a Meteor Mash, and they're going to take me out. They would have bullet punched me down before. I was able to lick them down anyway because I threw all my Body Slam energy at their Swampert. So really well played, especially because I won lead. So props to my opponent there. We're 3-1 though. We still positive. We still taking this set. All right. Now we're getting into the 5th match of the set. I'm definitely clinched a 3-2 at minimum to get myself above that 2900 range. The question is, can I get the 4-1 and get myself well above the 2900 range? We have another Swampert lead here, and I want to get my revenge. We faced a Swampert earlier, beat it. Last match, lost to because my opponent played really well. We want to face this third one and get our revenge on this Swampert, and again, I stay consistent. I don't even try to bait against Swamperts or Machamps with Garchomp because I landed that Outrage. If I bait, then I put myself in a poor situation because I didn't shield that. So they're going for a charge move here. It's going to end up being a Hydro Cannon, so I'm okay with letting that go through. And I'm curious to see how much they farm up, and they didn't. They kind of farmed up a decent amount, so I'm worried about this potentially being an Earthquake. So I shielded it, ended up being a Hydro Cannon. Rather safe than sorry because now I can get to the Sand Tomb, take out their Swampert, and essentially win this 1 shield to 0 shield situation, but at least my Garchomp has a bunch of health. So now let's see what they counter me with, and they bring in a Metagross, and luckily I overfarmed a bit, and Garchomp still has plenty of health, where this Metagross isn't too threatening to me. It's going to be really tough for them to try and bullet punch my Garchomp down from this health, so they're really going to need a Meteor Mash just to get rid of this thing. So I get to another Sand Tomb here. This will either put the Metagross into the red or threaten their first shield. It threatened their shield. It was a little glitchy because we CMP'd. I didn't see the shield. I definitely got it. Garchomp's done plenty. I'm going to let it go down here. I know I can bring in my Snorlax here, right? Because then I can lick away at it, considering the fact that their defense is lowered. Yeah, and I was also expecting them to have a Togekiss in the back, and they don't have a Togekiss in the back. They have a Magnezone in the back. I was really hoping they had Togekiss in the back because, you know, you have enough Metagross counters. You could have gotten away with a Togekiss. But either way, it puts me in a pretty stressful situation because I need to land this Earthquake, but they go for a charge move. I'm expecting it to be a wild charge. I let it go through, and I'm like, alright, at least they're debuffed. Let me throw a Meteor Mash. They probably won't shield because of the fact they're debuffed, but at least this will do a good chunk to them. They do shield, so I'm like, alright, even better. And now I'm worried about potentially getting Sparked down, and I'm also expecting this to be a Mirror Shot, so I'm also worried about them getting to another one before I get to an Earthquake. So what I decide to do is I go for this Meteor Mash instead. I'm not going to go all the way to the Earthquake, because if they get to another Mirror Shot, my Metagross is going to go down, and look at them, they're at another Mirror Shot. So I made the right play there. This Mirror Shot will take out my Metagross, but I can bring in my Snorlax. Actually, didn't take it out. It got it like really low. But I could bring in my Snorlax, and it's just got so much health that when I land this Body Slam, it won't take out the Metagross, but it'll put it in lick range, whereas if they get to a Meteor Mash, I will survive, and because that Magnezone threw a Wild Charge and 2 Mirror Shots, that Magnezone doesn't have any energy to do anything regardless. So it looked like they had a little bit of desync, which was odd, but I licked them down. I'm pretty much at a Body Slam. Get to the Body Slam. This will take out the Magnezone's remaining health, and I clinched a 4-in-1 set, and I'm excited to see how close this is going to get me to rank 10. So we're sitting at 2892. We're going to wait through all the little reward stuff. I don't always include this in my videos, mostly because of the fact that, you know, whether I'm positive or negative, I'm kind of just like jumping all over the place, and I feel like it really matters most during this rank 10 push. So you'll watch me miss this Litwick, and I think I caught on that try, and now let's see exactly where it gets us. It gets us all the way up to 2945. So if I haven't hit rank 10 already, check me out on Twitch. There's a good chance I'll be streaming my sets there, so hopefully I can hit rank 10 there. I gotta figure out if I can stream and also screen record my gameplay. I'm not gonna put up the Twitch stream because I play some music that could potentially get copyrighted, and it wouldn't benefit me to upload that on YouTube. Plus, if I upload the stream, it's gonna be way longer than this condensed video, and it just won't perform as well for that reason. So if you want to see me do those battles, check me out on Twitch. Hopefully I can just screen record the battles and then talk about them again after I've completed them, because hopefully I'll have hit rank 10. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Just stay tuned. So that's the set. I hope you guys enjoy my little end push of the season. That this is just like the continuous little mini series of me trying to get to rank 10. I hope you're rooting me on. I'm rooting for you guys, whether you're pushing for rank 9 or 10, especially with the way the ELO system is right now. There's potential for, no matter where you are rating wise, to still hit rank 10. So I'm rooting you on. I will see you guys in the next video with another update. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, I'll see you guys later.